You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now it's 7. It can be hard to get a good night's sleep, especially if you're a child. Melissa Alexis shares how one organization is aiming to help kids get some shut-eye.
Also, we'll take a look at an amendment on the Missouri ballot that could change the way residents vote in the future.
And it's another chilly start to the day out there. We got some haze. It's kind of blocking that sunrise, a little bit of patchy fog, upper levels. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. now on this Tuesday morning. It is September the 10th, and we got some haze, a little bit of low-level clouds like we did yesterday.
Yeah.
So it makes it not look like it's as sunny as it's going to be, but it will be.
Yeah, you know.
But I don't know if you slept well last night.
I never know.
Sometimes it's difficult. And, you know, even if you get to bed at a good time, it's still difficult to get a good night's sleep.
Certainly so.
It's an organization trying to help at least kids sleep better.
Yes. A Kansas nonprofit that gives children essentials for a good night's sleep has received a grant.
KOAM's Melissa Alexis shares how the grant will serve the children in need.
We have sheets, we have blankets, we have comforters.
A bed and blankets. It's something people may take for granted, but for some, it's not as easily accessible.
A lot of the kids are sleeping on tile, linoleum, very thin carpet, so no support whatsoever.
Dream Big Little One is a nonprofit in Columbus that works with mental health services and schools that notice a student is continuously falling asleep in class. Schools can then get in contact with Dream Big Little One to address the need.
They're going to school, they're trying to focus, they're trying to function, and they're trying to get their good grades, but it's just really hard.
It means a lot to a child because they never forget when someone loves them, and that's what we do.
They provide kids in need with beds, blankets, stuffed animals, and more. But they have faced issues with storage, unstable floors, and creating a secure location for families to load their new mattresses.
And not have to worry about anybody, tripping or falling.
Thanks to the Heartland grant, they'll finally get the upgrade they've been hoping for.
Once we knock this out, get it out of the way, it's going to open up so much space. The kids get very excited. They want to help. They want to unload and load up. So it's always we really have to keep an eye on the kids up front. So if we can utilize the back alley and load and all of that back there, then the kids are going to be in a lot safer atmosphere.
Last month alone, the organization gave out 47 beds to children in need. Reporting in Columbus, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The president of Dream Big Little One says they're always looking for volunteers and donations to continue helping children in need.
Certainly this will help them with that mission of taking care of them. And again, just making sure kids have a good place to sleep, because that's essential.
Absolutely.
Essential for children especially, because they're developing, they're growing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, we've got a bit of a hazy start again out there, a little bit of fog. Now, fog tracker at the surface level, there's nothing out there right now, but it is, we got some low-level clouds, which you can see from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh, so it's kind of blocking that sunrise, makes it look a little cloudier than what it actually will be. We'll have those clear skies across the area eventually today. Looking good, though, from our camera, too, at 7th and Range Line in Joplin as folks get their day underway, and we'll head a little further south to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. Folks waiting for that light to turn green, and sometimes, especially when you're heading home, maybe not necessarily to work, but when you're heading home from work, it seems like that red light takes forever, and you somehow manage to hit every single one on your way home. But you always run into green lights on your way to work. Isn't that something? Always interesting. All right, let's take a look at the future track. Now, for today, there's really not much to show like yesterday. We are going to be a little warmer, southerly breeze. Temperatures will be seasonably warm, mid-upper 80s across the area, but we're definitely going to notice that warmer air out there, and that'll lead to warmer temperatures tonight. Not like very warm temperatures, but warmer than where we have been and warmer than where we are right now. Sitting at 53 in Joplin, 47 in Pittsburgh, and aside from some folks in the low 40s like we had yesterday, we're pretty similar to yesterday. We've got mid-upper 40s and low 50s across the region as we get this day started. But again, we'll be a little warmer. Sunny skies, south breeze 5 to 10, eventually highs into the mid and maybe even some upper 80s here and there as well. Tropical storm Francine in the Gulf could impact our weather later this week, and we'll talk about that, plus our above normal temperatures tomorrow here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, last Thursday, we shared a story of a 19-year-old woman who survived a fall near Mother Nature's crack, and last night it happened again. This time it was a 50-year-old man who fell just after sunset near the same spot. Now, firefighters responded around 7:40 p.m. near the cliffs, while a second unit responded with a rescue boat. The man was injured from the fall, and rescuers were able to stabilize the transport of the man to an ambulance, who then drove him to the hospital. The man remained alert and talked to EMS. The extent of his injuries is unknown at this time. The Joplin Police Department wants to warn Southwest Missouri bank account holders of a text message scam going around. Now, they warn while some account holders may in fact receive legitimate fraud alerts, others could lead to accounts being compromised. They recommend reporting any fraudulent activity to Southwest Missouri Bank and to law enforcement. You can head over to KOAMNewsNow.com to see an example of what this text message scam looks like. Authorities in Joplin arrest 3 people connected to what officials say is a large quantity of fentanyl found in an apartment. Officers from the Ozarks Drug Enforcement Task Force and Joplin SWAT searched an apartment at 802 Pennsylvania. There they found fentanyl and suspected methamphetamine. Officers arrested 2 women and 1 man at the scene. Now, formal charges are pending. A constitutional amendment added to Missouri ballots could change the state's voting laws. This November, Missourians will vote on a proposed amendment that would prohibit ranked choice voting. KOAM's Samantha Walker spoke with local election officials to learn what ranked choice voting is and why there's a push to ban it.
Ballot Amendment 7 would ban ranked choice voting in Missouri elections if passed. Ranked choice voting is where voters don't just vote for a singular candidate, but can instead rank their choices. Missouri does not currently have ranked choice voting, but the amendment would bar possible future use.
We have a concept of one person, one vote in this country. And on ranked choice voting, you don't have just one vote. You have multiple votes for multiple candidates on multiple issues. So the concept of the one person, one vote is done away with during that process.
Campaign Legal Center, a nonpartisan group that advocates for voter participation, says ranked choice voting gives voters more choice at the ballot box by having all candidates available. But Davis says all of those extra choices can make it more difficult for voters, which is why states like Alaska, who implemented ranked choice voting, are trying to repeal it.
Because you are choosing for multiple people in multiple ranks, multiple orders on the ballot. And as somebody who runs the elections in Jasper County, and we have people that don't even fill out the current ballot correctly, it's very scary to think about how convoluted it's going to be.
He says if ranked choice voting was ever implemented in Missouri, it would likely take longer for voters to get official election results.
There was a number about Minnesota that it took them 13 days to certify an election because they had to count and recount, etc. What most people don't understand is somebody has to get 50%. So if we were to have an election in August and nobody got 50%, then we would have to have an election in September. And if nobody got 50%, we would have to have another election. So we could have 4, 5, 6 elections for the same races prior to the November election.
Reporting in Jasper County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
5 other states have banned ranked choice voting since April of this year, including Oklahoma. On the Missouri ballot, a yes vote would be in support of prohibiting ranked choice voting and multi-winner outcomes in state elections. And those are our top news stories coming up this half hour. Jasmine Kyle of the SDK Humane Society is with us, and she wants to introduce us to a furry friend. And later, Charlene Patton was in the studio earlier with a muffin recipe that is a must try. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Chicopee, Kansas. Welcome back. Jasmine Kyle from the SCK Humane Society is with us this morning, and she brought a friend along with her.
Hi.
This is Ari. Welcome to you both. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Good morning.
So yes, introduce us to Ari and how cute this
so
kitty
this is Ari. She is just a baby. So she is 5 months old. So Ari, she came in. Actually, she was born with us, so I'm one of her fosters. Her mom, Arwen, came in, and she was super duper pregnant, and she gave birth to 5 beautiful kids, and Ari is one of her daughters. Now, we're very blessed that everybody's been adopted, including her mom, but Ari is the last one left.
Okay, yes.
So the special thing about Ari, though, now usually most of our animals that are at our shelter, the SCK Humane Society, but we also own and operate the Doggy Bag Resale Shop at 514 North Broadway. Ari's down there. So she's been at the store for a few weeks now as she gets to adjust to customers. Like yesterday, she was in a shopping cart with a 5-year-old shopping with her. So she's down with the public, so she gets to play because she's very people oriented. And that way she can meet with potential customers. So it's something new that we started a few months down at the store to get adjusted with. And then for the store, it's not only where we have cats. So 100% of the inventory you see down at the store, that's all donated by the public. And then we do discounts for college students, like 10% off. And then brand new last year, our manager started a partnership program with local artists. So each month we have a different artist in the store or a different maker. So this month we have creative side, and they do mixed media with albums and artwork and all sorts of goodies. So you can come and see Ari. You can come shop for a good cause. We also have Spartacus, who is one of our emotional support animals. Now, Spartacus is not up for adoption. He's been with the store for a very long time, but Ari is. So whether you want to come and shop or say hi, you can even take a break and go grab a coffee at Root Coffee House and just hang out with the cats.
Yeah, absolutely. Who wouldn't want to do that? Now, if people want to find more information on Ari or the other animals up for adoption, where can they do so?
Yeah, they can do that on our website, the SCK Humane Society. And again, all of our animals, including Artie, they are already altered, vaccinated, up to date on vaccination. So these little sweet babies are good to go.
Wonderful. Well, Jasmine and Ari, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Stick around. We're back with more right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:17 on this Tuesday morning. We're starting with the future track. And for today, it's going to be similar to yesterday. We're going to be a little warmer, though, but otherwise sunny skies, a little bit of haze out there once again. So, not completely clear, but still not bad, but warmer, seasonably so, though. Upper 80s. So we'll notice the warmer weather, but it won't be terribly hot by any means. It also means, though, we're going to be a little warmer overnight. So we get some upper 40s and low 50s this morning. By tomorrow morning, we're going to have upper 50s and low 60s across the area. As we go into our Wednesday, believe it or not, we're going to be even warmer. In fact, we may even go above average. Some of us going into the low 90s out there. So we got to deal with that. Now, as you also see by Wednesday, winds begin shifting out of the east. We're watching Tropical Storm Francine down in the Gulf right now, which there's some question on the exact track. Of course, we're still a few days out from it even getting close to our area whatsoever. And with tropical systems, a lot can change in that time frame. So I'll give you this caveat now. Expect changes over the next few days. Right now, future track thinking. By Thursday morning, there's the clouds from Francine. Francine will be well off to our east, but it could give us an opportunity for an isolated shower or two Thursday, and then maybe again on Friday. And there's been some differences in the long-range models into exactly how Francine could impact us and when. Now, right now, though, unfortunately, all of the models seem to be under agreement that we're not going to see much from Francine. We do need some rain in the area. Right now, still tropical storm status. Winds are at 65. It's expected to reach Category 1 hurricane status later this afternoon and then be Category 2 by the time it starts to make its way up toward the southern Louisiana coast. Now, at this point, as you can see, the track is initially northeasterly, and then it'll start to turn north as it enters the western fringes of Mississippi. But take a look. If you can see the outline of that cone up here, as it gets a little further to the north, that cone several days out, broadens out significantly all the way from Springfield here to Nashville in Tennessee. So if Francine holds this course, we could get a few isolated showers in the eastern portion of our area, so say 69 and points east. If it travels further east toward Nashville, we'll get maybe some clouds and cooler weather. If it takes a slightly more northwesterly turn, gets closer to us, then we could see a little more meaningful rainfall out of Francine. Now, the other long-range future track at this point is still showing Francine still well to our east as we go through Thursday and into Friday. And so right now it's keeping the main rain from Francine well off to our east. But again, we'll see how exactly it plays out over the next few days. We're at 53 in Joplin right now. Skies are hazy, but otherwise clear. South-southeast breeze at 5. Again, upper 40s and low 50s across the area, so not as cold as some of us were yesterday, but still a chilly start. We're talking mid-50s by 8 o'clock this morning, low 70s by 11. Highs today, once again, upper 80s and sunny, low 90s and upper 80s tomorrow. We'll see what Francine does Thursday and Friday, but at least it could cool us back down briefly, then back into the upper 80s, pushing near 90 heading into the weekend. Maybe a few more storm chances toward the end of next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Welcome back. We've got our good friend Charlene Patton here all the way from Topeka, Kansas with the Kansas Soybean Commission, here to teach us how to make blueberry oatmeal muffins. It is National Breakfast Month. So good morning to you. Thank you so much for being with us. So tell me about today's recipe.
This is really one of my favorite recipes from the Soybean Commission. You know, muffins are a great recipe if you've got kids in the kitchen. It's easy for them to make, and they're so nutritious, but you know, you can have a muffin any time of day. Breakfast and after school snack. And I did want to say, as a bonus, if anyone's going to the Kansas State Fair later today, I will be demonstrating in the Domestic Arts Building at 11:30 today. We'll be making this recipe, but 2 more recipes, and giving away lots of goodies. So
if you're going,
that's right.
Charlene,
come see me and say hello. So we have the soy flour blend in here, and we have the recipe for that in this recipe. But it's 7 cups of flour. We always said that goes with KOAM, doesn't it? 7 cups with 1 cup of the soy flour. Mix that together, put that in your flour canister, and you can use that for anything.
Fantastic.
So you're getting the benefits of the soy. So I'm going to do the dry ingredients, but I'm going to have you go ahead and do the wet ingredients. So this is kind of a 2-part recipe. You have vegetable oil that we'll add in there, and with vegetable oil, the only ingredient in there is soybeans. And then we have 1 egg, and then we have some soy milk that we're going to add in there, and you're going to whisk that together. So with our flour, I have a cup of oatmeal, and I'm going to just mix that together. I have some baking soda, baking powder, and a little bit of salt that we're going to add into this, and then a half a cup of brown sugar.
Fantastic.
We'll just mint that, and that gives us a little bit of sweetness in here.
Very hearty muffin.
It is. Then with the grains of the soy, with the flour and the oatmeal, you're right, makes it very healthy. Now I'm doing 1 cup of blueberries. And I want to show you these blueberries. Look how huge they are.
They're beautiful.
So you can use large blueberries, but if you want more blueberries in there,
and who doesn't want that?
You might want to use a little bit smaller one, and you'll have them in every bite. I like to add the blueberries now because then they kind of coat with the flour and separate. Now you can add your liquid ingredients. Perfect.
There we go.
And if you have your kids in the kitchen that they're helping with this, one of the things to teach them with the muffins is to only stir this until you don't see any flour.
You don't want to overmix.
You don't want to overmix the muffins. That makes the tunnels in them and makes them a little bit tough. So that's how to make a good muffin. So as soon as you don't see any flour, then we want to stop. Now we're going to put these, this makes 12 muffins, and you can put this in paper liners like I have here, or you can grease them well and do that. But then I like to just use
Oh, super easy.
The dipper,
too.
because then they're all portioned right. And then we have 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, just a little bit of cinnamon, and put that on top.
Oh, nice touch there.
They bake at 400 degrees for about 18 minutes. Use a wooden pick and make sure that they're done. But oh my goodness, they'll just melt in your mouth because they're full of those blueberries and lots of goodness.
Yes, such a treat there. And if people want to find this recipe or anything else, where can they do so, Charlene?
They should go to kansassoybeans.org and they can get all the recipes for September for National Breakfast Month, or they can also call our 800 number, 877-KS Soybean.
Wonderful as always, Charlene. Thank you so much, and stick around. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:30. I'm Elise Snowy. Parsons police ordered the Parsons Middle School to shelter in place yesterday after a report of gunfire close to the school. The report says the gunfire near 28th and Crawford, and the shelter in place order was after school had been dismissed. And no injuries were reported and no children were involved. Authorities say an adult pedestrian was the target. The investigation is ongoing. Well, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly directs flags to be flown at half-staff in recognition of the 23rd anniversary of 9/11. The directive applies throughout the state of Kansas from sunup to sundown Wednesday to honor the nearly 3,000 lives taken during the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. The city of Joplin had some visitors from 4 nations. Emergency managers representing 7 countries came to Joplin to learn about the city's recovery following the 2011 tornado. Now, a nonprofit, Global Ties KC, hosted the event where officials could share lessons learned about disaster response.
That the people should not be isolated when they're thinking about the world's problems, like disaster preparedness. That when these visitors from around the world are able to connect with their counterparts and talk about best practices, solutions, what they're implementing, that is when the best connections are made. That's when those aha moments happen, and then we're able to take back those best practices to their countries.
The event was hosted at Joplin's Mercy Park. Now let's check in with Chris for a look at the forecast.
Across the area this morning, starting with our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Looking pretty good out there. Again, some low-level clouds, but otherwise we will have clear skies once again. Our camera 7th and Rangeline, you can see it's more of that haze, and we did have the haze tracker earlier. We've just got some around the area, and we're going to have to deal with it today and into tomorrow, so it's going to make it look a little cloudy, but it's not really truly cloudy. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline looking pretty good this morning as well. Future track for this afternoon. Not much to show out there other than southerly winds. Temperatures a bit warmer today across the area, and that's really going to be about it. Now it's going to feel hotter for sure. We're going to be a little closer to 90, but we're going to be seasonably hot at least through today as we head into the upper 80s. But and then that will also lead to a slightly warmer overnight as well. It'll be about let's say 10 degrees warmer than where we are right now. 46 in Pittsburgh. 53 in Joplin right now. And like yesterday, the only thing we're missing is we did have some folks into the low 40s yesterday morning. We haven't seen that this morning, but we still have those upper 40s and low 50s to get our day started. Sunny skies, south breeze about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Highs again a little warmer today, mid-upper 80s out there. We're actually going to go above normal for our Wednesday, and then we're keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Francine. We'll have the latest on all that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Pittsburgh High School is on a mission to get its students to be more health conscious about their meal choices. The idea is so important that they decided to have a hydroponic container farm on school grounds. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has the story.
These students here are working on planting up new seeds that in about 4 to 6 weeks will transplant inside the container behind me, and this lettuce and greens will be grown to provide nutritious food for our students in the cafeteria.
Science teacher Audrey Rose says this student-driven farm container is much needed and hopes students will think about making better choices as well as learning how to direct their own steps. and meal planning.
We are going to be getting students a hands-on experience in growing nutritional food, starting hopefully opening up their palate a little bit, and also introducing them to the future wave of agriculture.
Something totally different. I've never done anything like this before, and I think that's what's most appealing about it.
The idea started when Rose wanted her class to grow vegetables for a small greenhouse near her classroom for the culinary students. The plan went so well, she had to expand to an entire container. Now the whole county will be able to enjoy these farms.
Their goal is to have 105 high school container farms, and if you know Kansas, there are 105 counties, so they're wanting to put one of these in every county in Kansas.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
You can help fund the hydroponic farms by visiting the Pittsburgh Farmers Market, where the students work every Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon. And if you can't make it, you can donate directly to the school. Now to look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. An off-duty bus driver springs into action when a bus veers off the road and into a ravine. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from Chetopa, Kansas. In Consumer Watch this morning, attorneys arrived to a federal courthouse in Virginia for the start of another Google antitrust trial. Now, the tech giant is facing a new antitrust lawsuit over its advertising technology. This comes a month after a judge declared Google's search engine an illegal monopoly. The Justice Department, Google, and a coalition of states made their opening statements yesterday. The trial will likely continue for several weeks, and a ruling will take additional weeks or months. Well, seniors who fall prey to financial scams could have an underlying health reason for it happening. A new study says that seniors who make poor decisions about finances and become vulnerable to scams may be showing signs of Alzheimer's disease. Now, the study says a specific brain cortex region may be developing a thickness, preventing sending signals to other parts of the brain dealing with memory and decision making. Now, the researchers say assessing financial vulnerability should be part of routine checkups for patients over 70. Well, if you're ready for your Turkey Day, Santa, and New Year's ring in the holiday, Google Flights says booking time is coming up. Google Flights, the travel search aid from Google, has looked at 4 years of data in 4,000 markets to help year-end holiday travel make their best getaways. Google Flights says prices regularly change, but for domestic, it's best to start in early October. Well, a bill that would have provided home loans to illegal immigrants in California shot down by the California governor, who vetoed the bill despite it being backed by members of his own party, citing a lack of funding in the state's budget. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has more.
If California Governor Gavin Newsom would have signed the bill into law, it would have given some illegal immigrants up to $150,000 in California taxpayer funding for first-time home ownership loans. Governor Newsom vetoed the controversial bill Friday, citing financial reasons. California faces a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit.
When we have a $62 billion deficit this year, we should be doing everything we can to support Californians and legal residents, our veterans, our children, our disabled.
We can't afford these unsustainable programs.
Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance was not a fan of the program either. He addressed this Friday during his visit to the southern border near San Diego.
California has made a catastrophic error at the state level, of course, backed by a lot of the San Francisco liberal policies that Kamala Harris has supported, that we want to give illegal aliens free mortgages. We want to give illegal aliens really generous health care benefits, and that has induced a lot of illegal aliens to come into the state of California.
On Thursday, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump announced he would ban illegal immigrants from obtaining home mortgages if he were elected.
We also cannot ignore the impact that the flood of 21 million illegal aliens has had on driving up housing costs. That's why my plan will ban mortgages for illegal aliens.
In California, unaffordable housing is one of the big reasons for the homelessness crisis in this state. The median home price here is more than $900,000. Reporting in Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:43 on this Tuesday morning. And the future track for today is going to show us another sunny day. Do have some haze out there to contend with, and we're going to be holding on to that haze around the area as we head into our Wednesday as well. We're going to be a little warmer today. We'll still have that southerly breeze and otherwise sunny skies out there. Because we're a little warmer today, it means we'll be a little warmer tonight as well. And as we head into our Wednesday, we could actually even see some folks go above average. So today is warmer, but it's seasonably so. But our Wednesday could be above normal as we're looking at some of the low 90s out there. Then we have to contend with what is currently, and will eventually become, was currently Tropical Storm Francine and is expected to become Hurricane Francine later this morning, early this afternoon. So by Thursday, you can see clouds starting to roll in from Francine, which at this point is expected to stay well off to our east, which is not good news for us because we need some rain around the area. The most that we're going to get at this point based on current data is some cloud cover, easterly winds, and some cooler temperatures as we head into our Thursday and Friday across the area, and maybe an isolated shower or two. Now, the track, of course, could change with it. It's a tropical system. It could move a little further west. It could move even further east, meaning we'd even see less, but we'll see exactly how it plays out. Still at 65 miles an hour, so still at this point a tropical storm, but it will eventually strengthen to hurricane status. But again, later this morning, early this afternoon out there, it is expected to strengthen to Category 2 status right before it makes landfall along the southern Louisiana coast, and that will be sometime tomorrow. And then it'll continue its track initially northeastward, and then as it gets into western Mississippi, it's expected to take a more northerly track, so up toward Memphis. And as we go further down into Thursday and Friday, you can see that that cone of uncertainty expands greatly, all the way from Springfield, Missouri to Nashville, Tennessee. So at this point, if Francine holds this course, which is what the future track data is thinking, maybe east of 69, we could get a few isolated showers Thursday or Friday, some cooler temperatures. Now, if for any reason something kicks it back a little further to the west, we could see a little more meaningful rainfall out of it. But if it somehow ends up further to the east, say Paducah or as far east as Nashville, we won't see much from it at all. The long-range future track had painted some showers into our area by late Friday, but is now keeping Francine and all of its rain well to our east. The farthest west it gets is West Plains and maybe just to the southeast of Springfield. So again, a lot will change between now and then, and we'll keep a close eye on it because we need some rain from that system, because otherwise there's no real rain on the horizon until about a week and a half from now. 53 in Joplin, though. Again, a cool start today. Around the area, we've got the upper 40s and low 50s. We don't have any of the low 40s like we saw yesterday morning, but still a chilly start nonetheless. Eventually making the mid-50s by 8 o'clock. Sunny skies, low 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today, upper 80s for most of us, low 90s for our Wednesday. Then we'll see exactly what Francine does, but we're going off of at least what the expectation is at this point, maybe some cooler temperatures, and they'll be short-lived. We'll heat back up into the weekend and next week, and you can see by next Thursday, it's our next opportunity for any kind of rain here in the 4 states. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, a King County Metro bus driver is being hailed as a hero after she jumped into action when a bus plunged into a ravine. It was Chaye Howell's day off on July 12th. When she was driving by this scene with her family in the car.
Around 7 p.m., a King County Metro bus veered into a 60-foot ravine off South Puget Sound Drive. Renton police said the driver suffered a medical emergency.
I can't remember fully what the bus looked like until I see the pictures. So just to see how high it was up in the air and we had to jump from there, it's pretty surreal.
Chaye Howell is still processing the scene she pulled up to on July 12th when a Metro bus with passengers veered off South Puget Drive and into a 60-foot ravine.
And I was like, you know what? You can do this. You were made for this. Let's go.
Without thinking twice, Howell tells me she climbed down the steep hill toward the front of the bus and noticed the bus driver was unresponsive.
And I got on top of the steering wheel and I just jumped in, and I just remember thinking, like, this guy is not going to make it. I could see his eyes rolling back, and that was the motivation right there. Like, he needs someone now, so be that someone.
She called for aid, and her instinct as a driver herself kicked in.
Just because of the training on Metro, just knowing parking brake, make sure it's in neutral, turn the coach off, like, do not leave the coach running.
Howell then shifted her focus to the people on board.
I saw that the passenger was like lodged underneath the seat. It was like super crazy twisted.
With the help of those around her, Howell pulled that man through a back window and got 5 young boys to safety. Everyone getting out alive, including the driver who had to be resuscitated by first responders.
When we saw him come back to life, it was just like everybody who was watching just like took a sigh of relief and was,
Howell says it was a team effort.
Everyone surrounding us worked together to make sure that this driver was able to make it back to his family. It was godly. It was a miracle. It was beautiful.
And she continues to prioritize people's lives every day.
I'm carrying these people every day. Even if they're going to block up, it's my responsibility to make sure that they make it there on time and safely. Most of all, safely.
Certainly incredible to see her taking her, training and using it when her fight or flight kicked in. It was great to see.
Yeah, able to take care of those passengers. I'm sure it was a scary moment for everybody on that bus.
Absolutely.
So great job for her to get in there and take action. We're going to talk about Francine one more time, and I know we just recapped it, but we're going to go over very quickly where it is and what the expectations are. So if you watch in this loop, you'll see the update where Francine was moving north-northwest at 5 and is now starting to turn north. And so that's why the expectation is gradually begin a more northeasterly track, which is why it's going to depend a lot on what and how Francine impacts us. Making landfall as a Category 2 hurricane, southern Louisiana, by tomorrow afternoon. And again, at this point, the cone is still off to our east, the main track keeping it south of St. Louis as we head into Thursday and Friday. And so depending on exactly where in this zone Francine ends up will have an impact on what kind of rain we see from Francine. So this future track is going off of that track, keeping the center of circulation off to our east. And so if it does stay there, as you can see, as we get into Thursday and Friday, other than having some cloud cover and cooler temperature, not expecting significant impacts whatsoever. One quick look at temperatures again, 53 in Joplin, a cool start, clear skies. We've got upper 40s and low 50s to start the day. It's going to be a little warmer today. We'll talk about that and the news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities in Joplin arrest 3 people after a large quantity of fentanyl was found in an apartment. Several agencies searched an apartment at 802 Pennsylvania where they found fentanyl and suspected methamphetamine. Officers arrested 2 women and 1 man at the scene. Formal charges are pending. The Joplin police wants to warn about Southwest Missouri bank account holders of a text message scam going around. Some account holders may receive legitimate fraud alerts. Others could lead to accounts being compromised. You can head over to KOAMNewsNow.com to see an example of what this text message scam looks like. And a constitutional amendment added to Missouri ballots could change the state's voting laws. Amendment 7 would prohibit ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting is where voters don't just vote for a singular candidate, but can instead rank their choices. Missouri does not currently have ranked choice voting, but a yes vote would be to prohibit ranked choice voting and multi-winner outcomes in state elections.
And we've got a warmer day today, but seasonably warm as we go into the mid to upper 80s across the area. Sunny skies, a little bit of haze out there. South breeze 5 to 10. We'll have clear skies as we continue through the evening hours and be a little warmer tonight as well. So instead of upper 40s, low 50s, we're looking at upper 50s and low 60s. We'll be hot tomorrow, in fact, even above normal as we go into the low 90s for some of us. And then we got to keep an eye on Francine. Thursday, Friday could bring us some clouds, maybe some cooler weather, and possibly an isolated shower or two. That will then be short-lived as we heat back up into the weekend and next week, back into the upper 80s, near 90. Next best chances for rain about a week and a half from now, heading into the end of next week.
Over 300 swimmers from multiple countries competed in an 8-mile open water challenge to help fund a restoration of an aging lighthouse off the Florida Keys. The event also raises college scholarship funds for Key students interested in competitive swimming.
Constructed to warn ships away from the Florida Keys reef track, the lighthouses are no longer maintained as their function has been replaced by modern global positioning system navigation, or GPS as most people call it. So very cool out there for sure. I'm sure the water was warm.
Yeah.
Sure, it's warm water. It's not so cool down there at all. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good into your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.